Alright. Who's this hitter? A-Rod. Right? A-Rod, everybody's favorite. Right? Everybody's favorite. Couple things. Couple things going right into his stroke. Okay? First thing we want to get into when we start talking about our swing, right, is we got to get into our stance. Okay? Get into our stance. One thing that you'll see about all these guys, right? Is everybody's stance the same? Right? In the big leagues? You can start running through some different dudes too, right? Freddie Sanchez starts way back a little more. Okay? Carlos Lee, kind of upright. Matt Holliday, this is his old days with Colorado. My hero. Everybody my age wanted to be King Griffey Jr. Right? Each row, pretty narrow. Right? A lot of different guys with a lot of different strides. Again, you want to talk about a couple of hitters that are potentially two of the best in a long time. You know, Ichiro and Cool. Right? Stances are pretty different. All right? Stances are very different. Okay? One thing that you'll see about them though is they're repetitive. They're the same all the time. Right? As we start getting into these guys, you want to look at them from multiple views to see what kind of position their body's in. Right? One thing that you'll see, guys, their eyes are always going to be over their toes, roughly. Okay? You don't want to be in a position where your head is over your rear end. Right? You want to have a little bit of an athletic lean. Head's in the middle of their body here, right? In a good athletic position, so that you feel like you can see the ball well and drive the ball. Right? A lot of high school guys, a lot of younger guys. You can get too much forward, you can get too much back. Right? Again, the test of time for me is always, are you as athletic as you could be right now in this time? Right? In this stance, in this stride, in this swing, in this pitch, whatever it may be. Right? You want to be in an athletic stance where you could either stand there all day long, right, or you could do it over and over and over and over. Okay? To be a good hitter, you have to be able to repeat. Right? You have to be able to repeat. One of the things I say all the time is, especially the older guys, even you younger guys, many of you guys had algebra yet? All right? What's an algebraic equation? A plus B plus C equals D. Right? What are those letters called? Variables. Right? They're variables. If you can control as many variables as possible, you have a chance to get the outcome you want to have. Right? What's the one variable you can never control as a hitter? The pitch, the baseball. Right? You don't know where it's coming. You don't know where it's going to end up. You don't know the velocity, the spin, whatever it may be. Right? So if my swing is the same every time, if my body is in the same position every time, that's the most number of variables I can control. So I have the best chance to take the one variable I can't control, the baseball, and drive it. Okay? So in our stance, we're in a good position. Right? Another thing you'll see here, it's a left hand pull. Another thing you'll see here is where their hands are at. Right? Their hands are in a good, strong position. Right? The biggest thing about where their hands are is it's somewhere between their ear and maybe a little outside of their shoulder. Right? Everybody might be in a little bit different position as far as different hitters. Right? But a lot of times guys get too caught up in trying to be super, super short. Right? Short is right. It's very accurate. We want our swing to be as short as we can. Right? We want our swing to be as short as we can. Right? As a boxer, you have a jab, right? Which is just trying to stun somebody a little bit, and you have your knockout blow. Am I right? I have jabs happen right here, nice and tight, right? Little jabs. When it's time to knock somebody out, you're going to get to a stronger position. Okay? So again, for us,
We don't expect guys that are 5'7", a $120 to hit balls out of the yard, but our goal is to go up there and drive the baseball. Right? Our goal is not to just make contact. Right? Because the one thing you guys will see as you get older, as you get to higher levels of baseball, is the ability to defend, and the athleticism on the field defensively is so high, you can't just hit little squibers and expect to get knocks. You've got to drive the ball through the infield. Drive the ball into the gaps. Drive the ball, right? So again, when you watch everybody's hands, a bunch of different guys. Hands are all in a good athletic spot, good strong spot to work with, okay? Good strong spot to work with. After stance, we go into what we call the negative move, right? Or the load. Everybody's seen the load or heard of a load. So here's stance for Griffey and pull holes. Again, a couple of different stances, right? But again, both of their hands are right on their shoulder, maybe a little bit behind their shoulder in a good, strong position, right? We go to a negative move, right? The negative move, or load as we call it, a couple of things I want to key in on here, right? Number one, going from stance to negative move, who moved more? Griffey or pull holes? It's not a trick question, it's all right, you can just throw it out there. Griffey's on the right, Pull's on the left. Anybody move more? I would say Griffey's moving a little bit more because he's starting a little bit higher and a little bit narrower, right? So he's got a little bit more ground to make up. Pull is already really wide, already really low, right? So he doesn't have to move as much, right? But again, in what direction does their eyes move going from stance to their negative move? Does it go back? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit, but what's the most direction that's going? Down. Down. Right? Because you have a chance to be plugged in your lower half. Right? And you think about it, guys. For the ones that are going to pitching camp for that pitch as well, it's very similar on the mound as it is as a hitter. Right? When you want to get strong, right? When you want to get strong, whether you're playing soccer, football, basketball, whatever it may be, if you want to get athletic, you want to get strong, what direction do you move? Throw it out. It's one word. Down. Right? Down. Right? You want to make sure you get to a stronger position. Right? So both those guys are in a good position for their stance. When it's time to get strong and get ready to rock, you get down a little bit onto their backside. Right? But the biggest key is getting their eyes level, getting down. Right? Going from their negative move, the other thing I like to see is that their hands, right, are set. Okay? When we move backwards, this is something, again, a bunch of you guys that have dealt with me before, the thing that takes you back is your hands. Your hands take you back. Right? You watch these guys go from their stance to their stride. Both of their hands did what? Move down, back a little bit. Right? And again, what I would say is, you got any hunters out there? Any guys that bow hunt? Right? Any guys that just shoot pistols or shoot guns? Right? What I'll call it going from stance to negative move, watch their hands. Right? Their hands are cocked. Their hands are ready to go. It's like cocking a pistol, right? Or drawing back a bow. Their hands are in a position to attack now. Right? Going from stance to negative move. So now they're where they want to be. Right? It's ready to go. Now they're just going to stride to hit the ball. Okay? They start to take their stride. Okay, again, both of them, during their stride, their head does travel. Right? Their head does travel. Right? If you watch Griffey, here's where his stride foot starts. There's where his stride foot ends. Right? Can I see that? So going from his negative move, here's where his nose starts. Where his nose finishes. Alright? So again, you got to understand that as your foot travels, so does your head. Right? I know everybody always talks about keeping your head still. Right? If you stride, if you transfer any energy through a stride, your head has to travel with it. Okay? Again, go the other direction as Griffey going. Down a little bit, right? Because in order for him to keep his weight back, he's got to stay down. Okay? Pulls is a guy who doesn't really have a whole lot, of a stride. But again, for every inch that his foot goes, so does his head. Now, when you hear coaches talk about keeping your head back, right? Keeping your head back in your stride, where is both of their head in relation to their body? Anybody?
Center mass.
It's in the middle of their body, right? So if the head stays in the middle of your body, you are staying back. Right? Does everybody understand that? However far our foot travels, our head's got to travel with it, right? Our head's got to travel with it. Where guys get in trouble and your coaches yell at you to stay back, keep your head back, it's because when your head travels, or your foot travels, your head travels more, right? Or your head travels beyond the center of your body, right? We want to keep our nose over our belly button. We want to feel stacked over the center of our body when we travel. Right? This allows you to control your stride, control your lower half, and be athletic all the time. Okay? Be athletic all the time. You don't want your head to dive over the top of your front foot. So two guys with really good strides, really good body position. Right? Then we go from toe tap to heel plant. Right? Bam. So again, stride, heel plant. And ultimately what this means, guys, toe tap to heel plant means when their foot first hits the ground, when their front foot first touches the ground, and when their front foot gets strong on the ground. Right? Right? A lot of guys that when you watch both of their toe touch, right, or their stride, look at both of their foot. Are their foots closed off? Their front foot, is it closed off at all? Or is it square to home plate? Or is it actually open? It's open, right? And that's a misconception. A lot of guys want to stride with their heel, right? Or stride with their heel up in the sky, right? And again, for younger guys, high school guys especially, it's kind of a sense of strength. You guys want to be strong with your front side and jerk, so you'll stride with the toe and then pull with the heel, right? It actually causes you to have a little bit of a hitch in the middle of your swing. These guys are striding with their front foot open, but their hips are still closed, right? They're in a position for their backside to work to the ball, not their front side to pull there, right? But their backside to work to the baseball. Right side for right-handed hitters, left side for left-handed hitters. Okay? Then we go to heel plant, they get rotated, and connection. Bang, right? Connection. We talk a lot about this with our guys as far as playing pepper or getting to a good, strong position. Here's the beauty of this, guys. Have these guys swung yet? No, they haven't. If they decide right now at this moment that it's a ball, they can stop. Right? They can stop where they're at. They're connected or to what we call a launch position. Right? They're in a good launch position. Okay? On stride, the lower half comes a little bit. Right? The back knee starts to rotate on heel plant or on stride. Right? They're in a good position right here. Their backside's starting to rotate to the pitcher. Right? Their back heel is starting to rotate towards the catcher. Okay? Getting some rotation. And at connection, their hands, right, are starting to work down. Okay? And again, for the guys that get a little bit long on the backside of their swing, right, what you'll see is both of their knobs, right, the knob of their bat is facing what direction? At connection. Down. Right? Down. And what we'll say is this. When we do a drill later on today, when we do launch, and we stop at the launch position, you want your knob facing the pitcher's feet. Right? Not facing the pitcher, facing the pitcher's feet. Right? Where we're getting stacked, our lower half starting to come, the right side, the back side of our body is starting to work towards the pitcher. Right? And we're in a good position to go to contact and get through the baseball. Okay? Again, now they're bat lag, they're in a position where their hands are working in front of the barrel, they're working inside of the baseball, and at contact, they're both destroying the ball, by the way. Right? But a couple of things at contact. Where is their back knee in relation to their head? Straight line. The back knee is directly underneath their head. Right? You start looking at them, you've got head, back shoulder, back hip, back knee, all in a straight line. Right? Same thing with Griffey. Head, back shoulder, back hip, back knee, all in a straight line. Okay? Look at both these guys' foot at contact. Right? It's hard to tell, but they are barely touching the ground or not touching the ground with their back foot at contact. Right? Why is that the case? Bam. Smart private school guy right here. Transfer of energy. Right? Transfer of energy. Okay, everybody always talks about squashing the bug. Right? You're just leaning on a ball. Right? We want to allow our backside to work forward. When you guys throw the baseball, do you keep your back foot on the ground? No. You release it. Bam. And then it comes back down afterwards. Same thing when you hit. You'll release that back foot. Hitting off of that triangle yesterday. Right off of that ramp. You guys feel that. It's got to feel like that all the time. Right? Both these guys are in a good position driving the baseball. And then from contact, we go to extension. Okay? From contact, we go to extension. Another thing you see about both of these guys, what's their front leg doing? Straight. It's firm. Right? It's firm. Pool hole has traditionally always had a really, really firm front side. Griffey's got a little bend in there. It's not completely locked out. It's a little bend. Right? Another thing is, look at their front foots. Right? Their front foots are stable on the ground. A lot of you guys that pull real hard with your front side, get your front heel up or your front toe up to the sky all the time. Right? You roll over onto the Nike check on the outside of your foot. You got to stay stable, stay strong in that front foot. They're plugged into the ground, right, with their front foot. This position right here is what we call extension, right? Extension. And this is the last thing I'm going to harp on with you guys, and then we'll get going. Okay? Extension is where you're trying to go. Where's both of their bats facing right now? Pointed right at the pitcher. Pointed right at the pitcher. Okay? We go to, they're both pointed, you guys are the pitcher, they're at contact, and extension, they're going right back to the pitcher right here with all of their energy, okay? We want to talk about, one thing you'll hear me say a lot, is directional energy. It's energy that's going right back to the pitcher, that direction. Why does it go that direction? It's where the ball's coming from, right? Where the ball's coming from, it's the middle of the field. If we're a little late, we hit at the right. If we're a little early, we hit at the left. It's all directional. Okay? At this point, right here, at extension, their swing is finished. This is the end of their swing. Okay? This is the end of their swing. So from there, they go to finish, 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 finish. Right? My point is here, guys, is where Pujols is at right now. Where Pujols is at right now is where a lot of you guys think that's the end of your swing. Right? My point is this: when we swing, we work to contact, we work through to extension, and finish happens naturally. Right? It's a natural release, a natural deceleration. Right? Where a lot of guys get confused is you work as hard as you can to that position. Right? That's your destination. Meaning that I'm going from contact that direction. Right? Does that make sense? If I'm working hard from contact to finish, where's all my energy going? To the third base dugout. Right? To the third base dugout. So when you try to drive a ball the other way, you cut it. You hit a little bleeder. Right? Or when you get a good pitch to hit, you snap, hook it, foul. Right? Your energy and your destination needs to be right back up the box to extension, and then relax through your finish. Right? It's all about the destination and the path that they're going. Okay? All right, now as you watch these guys going in real time, right? Number one, it's efficient, right? There's not a lot of wasted energy. When you watch these guys' negative moves, right? When they make their negative move, right? it's directional as well. It's away from the pitcher. It's not a coil in, coil out, right? When they make their negative move, you can still see both of their chests, right? From this angle. When you guys are hitting over there, a lot of you guys, when you make your negative move, you can't read what's on your chest anymore because you want to roll in real hard, right? So when you do that, you've got to roll back out to get the contact, okay? These guys are in a good spot. The other thing is this. They're in a good position to hit, and they're doing it. They're getting after it, right? Is there violence in that swing? Is there violence? Absolutely. There's aggression. There's controlled aggression in there, right? King Griffey Jr. right there is giving all that he's got in that swing. But here's the deal. That's his stroke. If that's his 100%, he's not trying to go 180. He's going 100%, right? And like I tell guys all the time, if you can start in the right spot and you can finish in the right spot, you can't really screw up what's going on in between there. You can, but not too much. So my point is, if you start in the right spot on time, give it all you got, and finish in the right spot, and you're under control, right? It's controlled aggression. It's controlled aggression. Okay? So we want to make sure that we're building up energy over time and over space, starting in the right spot, finishing in the right spot, going in the right direction. Okay, a lot of information right here. Does anybody have any questions before we get going? Anybody? 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 Okay, a couple things that we're going to key in on today, right, based on what we talked about here. Okay, when we do soft toss, or front toss today, we'll mix in some long front toss, right? Long front toss. When we do long front toss, it's just the opposite of getting the fast stuff. You're going to get it slow, right? So we're going to hit it like we're hitting slow pitch softball, right? So what we want is we want everybody to be really good at their negative move. Get into a strong position with their hands, get into a strong position with their body, but keeping their eyes low, right? Get to a good, strong position, right? Then we're going to have to let the ball travel. Go drive it. Go drive the baseball, right? You'll see it when we get over there, okay? Another thing we're going to do, make sure our direction's good, is we'll hit off the box like we did yesterday. We'll do that in front toss. Right? So you got to make sure your energy and everything is going that direction. Okay, that direction. We'll do a no peek drill. When we do no peek and live, we'll put a ball right in front of home plate. Right? We'll hit the ball, and we'll finish with our nose down right on home plate. Right? The reason we do that is because when your nose stays plugged into home plate, you really feel what direction your body's going. Right? So you're going to feel like you're making sure that your extension is going back to the pitcher and not working hard to third base or hard to first base. Okay? Then the last one, whenever you're hitting off of me today, going live in the infield portion, right? We're going to do a drill where you stop at the launch position. Okay? Launch position, right, is when we get connected, our lower half gets rotated, and my knob gets going to the pitcher. Okay? Again, whenever you want, watch these guys at connection. The ball hasn't even shown up in the frame yet, right? So again, this ball is probably a good 20 to 30 feet away from home plate right now. Right? It's probably a good 20 feet away from home plate right now. So if that's the case, they're still making their decision, right? But their body is in the perfect position to allow their hands to be thrown to and through the baseball at this point, right? So we're going to do that on a pitch-by-pitch basis, okay? I'll throw a pitch, you'll take it, bam, in a good controlled directional launch position. The next pitch, I'll throw it, boom, and you'll hit it. The next pitch I'll throw, boom, we'll take it, right? But when we're taking that pitch, we're getting to the launch position. I need to be here when the ball is still 15, 20 feet away from me, right? Then the next one, I'll be to that spot again and allow myself to go, okay? The one thing I'll say, and then I'll shut up and we'll go hit, right, is how you get to contact, right? The last thing I have is how you get to contact. And when you watch these guys, you know, I said that their swings are violent, correct? But honestly, do they look very violent? They don't. They don't. Right? And this is what's interesting about this. This is why we work on the launch position. Right? is these guys, their swings build up over time and over distance. Meaning that whenever King Griffey Jr. is getting into his launch position, he hasn't jumped on the gas yet. Right? He hasn't jumped on the gas yet. He hasn't done that squeeze and that jerk and that violent move yet. It happens easy and gradually, right? So think of it this way. Think of it this way. When do we want to be going as hard as we possibly can? When do we want to be at our max bat speed and our max velocity? At contact, right? At contact and through contact and extension. Okay? So if that's the case, we don't have to go full speed all the way back here. Right? All the way back here. Okay? We want to build it up over time and distance. So for all the guys that drive, right, this is the concept I always use. Right? When we're in our stance, we're sitting at an intersection. We're sitting at an intersection trying to get on the highway. Right? Trying to get on the turnpike. We're just at an intersection at a stoplight. Okay? Whenever we're going to launch, right, we're making our left-hand turn. We're making our left-hand turn, getting onto the on-ramp. Okay, it's got to happen gradually, right? You ever go through a turn too fast? Fishtail, scary, think you're going to roll your truck, whatever it may be. You got to go through it under control, right? And once we get to launch position, we're on the on-ramp. We're on the on-ramp, okay? How do you get on the highway? You speed up, right? You speed up. What happens if you peel out back in the intersection? You're going to spin, you're going to do donuts, you're going to lose control, right? So we've got to make that turn onto the on-ramp. By the time we get to the top of that on-ramp, we better be going 65 miles an hour, right? So that we can get on the highway and not stop anybody, right? We've got to be able to get going over time. So that's your struggle. We've got to get on the on-ramp, and we've got to accelerate over time and distance and drive the baseball, right? So again, when you watch these guys hit, they're destroying the ball, and it's very violent. But it's controlled violence in the right direction, okay? Those are the things we're going to try to key in on today. So I'll grab your stuff. We'll head over to the next door. Hold on, guys.
I got a question. Run into hand position during the load, and also bat head position. Get a lot of them wrap around the back of their neck,
Yeah.
and also their hand. Where should your hand position be during your load?
In the negative move or the load, guys, what we want is we want our hands to be stacked on top of each other, as opposed to laid side to each other. Right? And typically, we want the barrel to be over the top of the head. Now, when you think about the Major League Baseball logo you see on hats on everything, you almost want to be right in that position with the barrel over the top, over the crown of your head.
Okay.
Right? When guys get wrapped and they get laid back, they want to. A lot of times it's associated with their lead elbow. If their lead elbow goes up, the bat goes down, and they want to pull with their shoulders. If their lead elbow's down, their bat's up, they're in a position to let their hands work forward.
Okay.
All right, guys.